Hey everyone, Ekman here with another video, and today we have a top 16 breakdown for the CoreTCG Riverside Regionals that happened this past weekend. It was over 300 players with this top 16 that we see here today, and a couple of things before we get started. First, if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. It does help the channel a lot, and also just means that you guys want me to make more Fusion World content. And then also, I do want to thank CoreTCG for not only running the event, but also for letting myself and Thomas do the live stream for the event. It's on YouTube and Twitch right now for members and subscribers respectively, but if you guys want to see it, it's going to be uploaded here later this week on like Wednesday, cut down to just the rounds so you guys can catch those too. So make sure to check that out when that drops too, and let's just jump on into this breakdown. So as mentioned, it was this weekend, 356 players registered and 9 rounds of Swiss best of 1. So largest, I think, tournament, at least player register wise, for the United States, which is really cool. And then of this top 16, we did see 3 Beerus, was one of them winning the event, 3 copies of Frieza, 3 Vegeta, 2 Zamasu fused, 2 Brolys, 1 Gohan, 117, and 1 Goku, the U7 variant of it. So honestly, a very diverse meta, especially from where we were at the beginning of this set. I do think the restrictions were pretty good for what this game is doing. I know a lot of people, including myself, I thought that red was maybe potentially hit a little bit too hard, but it's still topping, and not only topping, but it is also winning this event, as we saw from Bryant's list as well. So honestly, I don't have a lot of qualms for where we're at in this one. Sometimes I feel like green is like a little bit top end heavy, right, if they play enough 8 drops, but it doesn't seem to get there enough, or at least be doing as well that there's some decks that are too fast, or they can get the removal or enough pressure where the 8 drop doesn't really do that much. So I think that's really impactful too. So I think, again, this is probably one of the most diverse metas that we've had for this card game. At least this tournament in general has a lot of different leaders topping, which I think is really interesting. So we're going to go over the top placing list for each one of these leaders as well, starting off with Bryant's first place list for Beerus, and also for Bryant's list as well as for Marc's list. I was able to get an interview with them and go over their decks and go over their thoughts, so make sure to watch those if you really care about these lists. I'm going to just do a humble job at it, but they obviously know their list a little bit more. But for Beerus in particular, when this deck does well, it seems like it's very, very strong. Not only I think like the biggest thing for this leader and other crit leaders is that you do draw when you're going first now, so I think that does help this deck in particular for the early game. It just means that you're not like super behind. Since Beerus doesn't get the card draw for the first turn, that's really impactful. I also think it means that you can be like on the unawakened side a little bit longer at times, which is good too. We used to be able to play like 1-drop Roshi, right, and just awaken really early, but that also means that we have to kind of like be defensive as soon as we hit 4 life. So I think there is some different play where you don't awaken as fast as possible. You just kind of make sure you do it at the right time and put enough pressure on your opponent, because your opponent probably also won't want to try to awaken you, but if they don't, then like you just get like more resources and times to set up too. So some MVPs for this deck right now, I still think Gohan is a stupid good card. With the effect from this and leader effect, you're able to get rid of a 25k base body, or just the fact that between this and this, you're able to just attack really heavy into, like, you can get rid of the Broly really easily with the Sun Gohan and leader effect, which is good. We're playing the 1-drop or one of the Keflas because we can't run any more of it. We're also playing some Beeruses, and this card did really, really well this weekend. There's a lot of decks and a lot of boards that this just cleared, got a lot of value immediately, and if you didn't respect that this was going to come down potentially next turn, you were going to lose a lot of value. So this existing and doing a lot of work, I think, was very good. And then just kind of standard from there. I think we know what red kind of looks like, but I think Beerus is still really, really good in this format, and it's like, and I wasn't really thinking it was going to top consistently, but it definitely has, and I think it's going to continue for the rest of this meta too. So this is Bryant's list, and congratulations for their first place there. Moving on, we've got Marc with their version of Sun Gohan Childhood, and I wasn't really, this deck wasn't really on my radar. I'm like, all right, you're playing either Broly or you're playing Aandroidd 17, right? But Gohan definitely can still do some work. I think the only thing that hinges about this deck is this 5-drop Son Goku. You're really, really dependent on this card being out and being around for a long time, which I think in Beerus is probably the best deck to get rid of this. As mentioned, you have a Sun Gohan and leader leader effect, this Goku just goes away, unfortunately. But because of that, I think that could be maybe like a different matchup for it. But the fact that Gohan does have this new 3-drop Goku is fantastic. Has activate main once per turn if your leader is some Gohan childhood. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 5 or less. Add it to its owner's energy and rest mode. Then add this card to your energy and rest mode. So it kind of looks like, oh, you get a ramp, but your opponent has to ramp too. But this actually says choose up to, so you can just choose none of your opponent's cards and you're able to just ramp itself. So think of this as like a destructive strength that can attack into something if needed to, and also be a 5k combo. So it just gets a lot more flexibility comparatively, and I think that's very, very strong for this Gohan leader. And then just from there, we just kind of have our standard pieces. We do also play the Son Gohan Future and the Trunks Future package. Not only do we have this 3-drop here, the new one, but we also have this Trunks Future, which the 5-drop protects us pretty good. The fact that we're able to, unless we're playing as red, I think we got a lot of good tools and a lot of good matchups with Gohan. And then if we're able to keep our 5-drop around, we're able to just get a 35k offensively every turn or a 35k defensively every turn. I think is really strong and helps out the deck a lot too. So I think this is a really good build. I think Marc did a really good job piloting it, and congratulations for him. Make sure to check out the video with him too. He explains a lot better than I did, but congratulations nonetheless. All right, next up we've got our Fuse Zamasu. So this is Alexis's version of the deck, and honestly I didn't think this deck was going to top too often. Definitely getting 2 tops is really impressive for it in my mind. I do think that the deck is dependent on the meta, so you kind of have to adapt for it. And the other kind of thing that I was worried about with this guy was that it is potentially very strong, but I feel like green just has a better late game, right? Like Broly is still really good. It puts a lot of immediate pressure. It's really good for answering a Goku Black, and Goku Black can't really answer an 8-drop Broly, right? But I do think that if you are in like this is just a deck that has to adapt to meta. So the first couple weeks, I don't think it's going to do very good, but I think it's gone there already. So we do have a good amount of removal, right? That's the big thing for this deck, being able to use these Sinister Sickle, being able to use the Absolute Lightning, right? The fact that we're able to heal once per turn is pretty good. So being able to use the peel-offs to just get infinite value and being able to just have like another card you can always heal with is really nice. We do have like our 4-drop Zamasu Fuse, which is good for getting our value. And again, Goku Black is a really good card in this deck because we are able to put a lot of pressure. And I think like the only thing, like the difference between this and Vegeta is that Zamasu Fuse is better at living a little bit longer, but a little bit harder to finish sometimes. Vegeta's the other way. Vegeta is really good at finishing, but it just has a hard time just because it's a 20k base leader kind of thing. But it's really cool to see Zamasu finish for this event. I don't have a lot more insight for this one, but I do think it's great that it did. So this is Alexis's build, and congratulations to their finish on this one. Then next up we've got Frieza, which I think a lot of people would say off the bat this was probably the best deck into this new format of FBO2, but with the restriction list. And I still think that's pretty fair for this one. We are very good at putting out a lot of 20k bodies still, with a combination of just using like our Raccoon into Ginyu, into being able to play like Frieza that we played last year and that we probably kept alive kind of thing. So all of that just feels really good for this deck. We also do have like an alternative awakening condition of the 3-drop Vegeta and Bulma. So I think this is really great. This also being able to protect a lot of your things is really strong for this format. It's only rest mode battle cards, so you do have to kind of make a decision of what you want to restand with your leader effect. It's kind of like you get to protect it from battle, but you don't get to protect it from getting removed by effects too with Vegeta, so you do have to be careful on that. I do think red does have like a really good way to counter this deck, so I think that's kind of why I think Bryant's version of Beerus really countered the fact that we're playing 4 copies of Frost, and then also we're able to just get either a 25k base leader with Aandroidd 17 or just clear their board with Beerus is really good. But I also think that this still has some really obnoxious cards. You also notice they're not playing any copies of the 5-cost Frieza, which is really interesting to me. I would always say that's kind of a bit of a staple for this deck, but not running in this one. And then also like 4-drop Goku, just very, very strong. Obviously we've been seeing Cooler doing a lot of work too, and so I think this is a really clean list. Again, not having double strike means you're a little bit difficult to end the game, but I think a lot of people respect that 5-drop Frieza could come down and go down to 1 life, so it could be a bit of a mind game. But I do think the deck is still very strong. We're going to see a lot of it in the next couple weeks. And a big congrats to Tommy for their finish there. Next up, we have David's version of starter deck Vegeta. And I would generally say Vegeta is the most flexible leader, or most generic leader that we have for blue right now. It's just the fact that its leader effect is just really good on the backside. It's just being able to get a 35k base leader every time on offense means you get to put a lot of pressure on a lot of different things. But you do, and you'd think it would be more aggressive because of that too. But I do think you are able to be more value based in a lot of ways, and also be like very removal heavy based on just the package that blue has right now. So we do have like the new secret rare, which has been doing a lot of work. We do play like Zeno as well, which is very handy. I do think the new ad that I've been seeing pop up is this 3-drop Beerus. So when attacking, you get to KO up to one of your other battle cards, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and return it to their hand. So this is actually really generic removal in a lot of ways. And what I've been told too as well is that you can use this on your Zamasu Fused. It has this when KO'd effect to play this card from your drop and rest mode. You can't play Zamasu Fused for the turn, but it's not like it doesn't care how you KO it. So you can attack with this Fused Zamasu, draw a card, whatever, put some pressure, and then you can play the Beerus out, use the effect to KO your Zamasu, comes back for free, and kind of goes from there. But we're also not a deck that's really has any shortage of 1-drops either, so being able to play like a Pilaf, get another Pilaf back, and then play Beerus and attack, you essentially just didn't even like lose a card because Pilaf replaces itself. So I think that's really interesting, and I've been seeing that a little bit for just a lot of different decks that are playing this weekend. We do then just have like the generic, we have like Vegeta, we have Trunks Future, we have also like a one of the Vegeta, which choose up to one of your opponent's battle card, cost of 2 or 1 or less, and place at the bottom of his owner's deck. You can switch this to active, but you can also use cards like the 1-drop Mai, or again the Vegeta, to reduce the cost of something, so you can get rid of like a 3 cost or a 2 cost if you like double up. So I think some really interesting techs. We're not seeing any Sinister Sickle, which I think is fine if we have all this other removal kind of potential, and it's a really interesting build, and I think David did a great job. So there's the build there, and congratulations for their finish. And then next up we've got Broly, which honestly I don't think Broly's really changed that much since that one. We do have a couple of new cards, and I think more and more people are doing the Son Gohan Future and Trunks Future package, but we just kind of do the same thing, right? We just draw, we try to ramp as early as possible. We need to find a destructive strength to get there quicker, and we go to just try to play as many 8-drops as we can back to back. The one I think other new card we do have is the 7-cost Broly BR. This is really nice that it's a 10k and it's a 40k attack, so it's just a big body, but also activate main once per turn if your leader is Broly. Choose up to 1 battle card and one of your opponent's battle cards and add them to their owner's energy in rest mode. So it's great for just really good removal. It's activate main too, so it's if you don't do it the first turn, you can do it the second turn kind of thing, and I think this is great for it. We're also playing like 4 copies. You get Gigantic Meteor and 2 instant Kamehamehas, so we can get some really big attacks and pressure. So I don't know, nothing too different with Broly. I think you guys know what's going on with it, but big congratulations to Justin for their finish there with it. And then next up we've got Aandroidd 17, which I'm a little bit surprised I didn't do a little bit better. I know a lot of people are on the deck, and I do know that it does put a lot of great pressure, especially for a green deck. And this is Brandon's version of the build here, or only Aandroidd 17 finish for it. And I do also think like with this, this meta like being like maybe like a turn slower with top Q gone, we do get to set up a little bit faster with Aandroidd 17-18. This card's just busted at times, being able to essentially be a 20k for 1 that ramps you 1, which is pretty insane. So being able to get that ability is really strong for this deck. So you're really dependent on seeing it, which is why we're playing copies like Krillin that find 17 and 18. We also do kind of want to see our destructive strength, so we're doing that there too. We're playing So Junior, which is also in the Broly list, but this being able to just say play 2 to draw a card, to like even draw like a Gigantic Meteor or something. This card's just really great. It's just fantastic for what we're doing. And then we do have to run a lot of the Aandroidd 17, 18 kind of package, so we do run a lot of that, including 3 of the big one, and then we also just have 2 copies of Broly. So this is obviously, I think, the card that we want to drop more often on curve. A 6-cost 40k double strike puts a lot of pressure against a lot of decks, and there are a good amount of decks that just can't answer this the first time it comes out. So even if it doesn't do anything immediately, you get to usually pressure with it again next turn, or play 2 back-to-back, which is pretty great. So we also could play Aandroidd 20, which would restand it too. There's some cool plays you get to do with it, but in general, I think Aandroidd 17 is a really good deck in this format. I am, again, surprised it didn't do as well compared to other weeks, but I do think it's still going to be very relevant in the next couple weeks too. So this is Brandon's list. Congratulations to their finish there. And then to wrap it up, we do have Kevin with the final copy of or their final top 16 card, which is the U7 Goku. And this was like thought to be kind of okay in set 1. I don't think it really took off since we didn't have like a lot of finishes with it, but I do think it's strong with the addition of 1, like the new TOP package, but also we do have like this 1-drop Frieza as well. Being able to use this to be a 20k is really, really strong for us immediately, and then also we get to bump it again with its permanent. So like leader effect and permanent makes it a 25k, which is nice. I already talked about it, but Aandroidd 17 is fantastic. It also gets to be buffed up by our leader, so being able to be a 30k is nice. Especially, like, again, same thing. Like, any 25ks get a lot of additional boost from our leader. Since we were able to go from 25 to 30, and 30 into a 20k base leader just means that they have to give us a 10k and another card, or a super combo, which feels kind of bad for just a 30k. So other than that, I think it's generally what we're seeing. We do also have the glimpse of hidden arrogance, which this card being able to be a plus 25k and draw us a card is really, really good, and just puts a lot of pressure for our opponents. And it's still a great card. It's a little bit harder for this deck to put 2 energy up for it compared to Top Coup, but man, it's still in a good spot. So I don't have much more to say. This is the build from Kevin, and congratulations to their finish there. And that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you've made it this far, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. If you want any of the deck lists, they're here on my website, as well as a lot of other events in this format, and that's going to be it for me. So thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.